On the Southern Farming Muster, we're off to the Key, or pretty close to it anyway. We're off to catch up with Anna Kempthorne from DairyNZ. So, Anna, welcome back to the Southern Farming Muster.
Yeah, thanks, Phil.
Right, well, weather out the window at your place, what's it looking like?
Well, it's blowing again. We seem to have been having a lot of wind lately in Southland, haven't we? But yeah, blowing, a little bit of weak sunshine. But yeah, it's all good because we're making silage today, so we need a good drying on it.
Yeah, exactly, because it's been plenty wet enough before that, I would think, at your place.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the water table's well and truly up, and we're just hoping at the moment that we're going to still get a share of the rain in November, and that it's not going to turn dry like it has in some previous years.
Yes, so that will be the challenge. So production at your place, it ticking on all right?
Yeah, no, good. I think we're about 7%, I think, ahead on the season to date, which I think is similar to what Southland is as a whole, actually. It's been a bit of a boomer, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
So far.
Yeah, a few people will be looking for a bit of sun and a bit of heat, really, to crank things up again, though, won't they?
Yeah, you could see the tips on the end of the leaves again, actually, just that sort of purple tippiness, and, yeah, some of the paddocks sort of looking a little bit thick, especially after all that, all that waterlogging and just lack of sunshine, so... Yeah, it's good to have a couple of drying days. It's actually good to see the wind when you need it to dry things out a bit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure we'll get sick of it after a while anyway.
Yeah.
We're talking about calf rearing, sort of, but I suppose at this stage of the game, a lot of it's really around the calf weaning decision. So how do you decide when the calves are big enough to wean?
Yeah, well, look, there's a few parameters there, Phil. One of them is how much weight that they've put on from birth to weaning. So if you take a standard crossbred calf at sort of 30-odd kilos, it needs to put on between 40 and 50 kilos of live weight before you'd consider weaning it. So it needs to be up around that sort of 70 to 80 type kilos. That's weaning off milk. So that's sort of one of the parameters. Another one to look at is how much meal they're eating, and the typical one there is around about that sort of kilo of meal that they need to be consuming to be able to sort of stand on their own 2 feet. I guess once you chop the milk off.
Or 4 feet.
Or 4 feet, actually. It is 4 feet. Yeah. So, and I guess 4 litres of milk is equivalent to, 1 kilo of meal. But, it is in your best interest to obviously get them off milk, because a kilo of meal is worth $1 or so, and 4 litres of milk's worth $2.90 odd. So, yeah, you do want to be encouraging that meal eating, but at the same time, you obviously can't cut them off too early, because then you stunt their growth going forward.
Because I suppose you are looking at it, most of them are destined to become cows in the future, and you like them to be nice and big, so why not give them a really good start? Yeah,
exactly. And the biggest thing that, as DairyNZ we'd recommend is just make sure you've got accurate weaning weights. I know it's hard this time of the year. It's a very, very busy time. You're mating, sometimes mating yearlings and cows at the same time, so, and cutting silage and crop work and all the rest of it. So it's a very busy time, and it's very easy just to say, right, that's it, we'll turn the tap off, we're taking too much milk out of the vat. We had enough of these calves, but yeah, just try and take some time to get them through the scales and just make sure that they are up to the weights that they need to be.
Right. Do you actually vary it around according to breed? Because those cute little Jersey calves, I'm sure at 80 or 90 kilos, they'd be halfway to sort of being a cow almost at that size, aren't they?
Yeah, well, again, that's where that rule of thumb of that sort of 40 to 50 kilos from birth to weaning is quite good, because, obviously everyone's got different sized cows. So, Jersey, a Jersey might be fine to wean off milk at 70 kilos, but a Friesian, you'd want to keep it going a bit longer. Mature live weight's got a lot to do with it. And another target, I guess, is, going forward from there is 30% of the mature live weight at 6 months, and then 60% of the mature live weight at 15 months or at mating, which is where we're about now.
Right. So in terms of weighing them, you said about making sure, does it have to be a set of scales? Do those sort of, what do they call them, waistbands or whatever they put around them, do they count?
They're better than nothing, the weigh bands, but there is a little bit of inaccuracy, so they can be sort of 15% or so, 15-20% out, and it is quite hard actually to get that weigh band just in the right place and firm enough on the calf while it's staying still. So that's probably why the inaccuracies come in there. But yeah, it's definitely better than just looking at a calf. I mean, you do get an idea after a while of looking, but having them over the scales first and to get your eye in is definitely a good way to go.
Yep. Well, the other one we should talk about, management of heifers. A lot of them at the moment, as you said, out there being mated either by bulls or by human intervention. So in terms of managing the heifers at this time of year, just how important is it to get it right?
Yeah, it's people are pretty busy out there at the moment getting them in calf, and I guess the 60% target live weight at 15 months. I mean, that's hopefully happens now. If it hasn't, you've still got some opportunity there to split out, some of those ones that are below target and feed them preferentially. Obviously, they'd need to be still with a bull, but trying to get them up and get them going is still really important. And just looking at the minerals, hopefully people have blood tested or given selenium. That's a critical one in terms of conception rates, both in all cattle. So that one there, I know people in the past have had, if they've had some problems with it, quite often it can be traced back to low selenium, and obviously worms as well. Worm drenching, keeping that up in consultation with your vet in terms of what you should be doing there for the live weight that they're at.
Yep, and if they're out on grazing, I suppose, just keeping in touch with the grazier just to make sure everything's trucking along the way it should be.
Yeah, exactly. And again, across the whole lifetime of the animal, from birth right through to when you bring her into the herd, they need to be growing between about 0.6 and 0.8 of a kilo of live weight per head per day on average. And obviously in the winter that tends to be a bit less, and then in the springtime that's a bit more. But with DairyNZ, we can't stress enough, that regular weighing, and that's something that, from a grazier's point of view, that's something that's brilliant that you can offer the dairy farmer, to be able to look at that on a monthly basis and see what the animal's doing is brilliant information for both parties, really.
Yeah. Always nice to know that you're on the right track, or if you've got a bit of work to do, just how much extra you've got to get done.
Absolutely, yep.
Well, That is wonderful. Anna, thank you for your time on the Southern Farming Muster. We'll look forward to catching up with one of the DairyNZ team again next Thursday.
Yep, no, thanks very